All right, guys, welcome. It is September 19th. I wanted to give a shout out to my brother. Happy birthday. My brother is, I'm 38. He is 47 today. So happy birthday, Ben. I hope you have a good one, brother. All right, so we are going to get into this XDC chat, and it is going to be a lot. If you get half an hour in, you got to take a break, guys. I'm recording. You don't have to worry about it, but there is a lot of information here. I also want to show you this too, guys. I'm going to have somebody come talk to you. When I'm looking at a subject and I don't feel that I can bring you the most information as possible, like I spend a lot of my time researching and doing the best I can. Let's go ahead and mute when you guys come in. That'd be awesome. So I do a lot of researching, but there's some people that just research one or two cryptos. I have to spread it out because there's all of you and you ask different questions and I have to go get educated in different things. But there's a couple people that spend all of their day, don't have big communities, but they spend all their day researching certain cryptos. And so I was watching all these videos and I found somebody that I really like. So check this guy out. So that is my email. You don't need to see that. So I need to click on this one. See, this is what happens when I have too many windows open. Okay, so this gentleman here, blockchain utility theory, citizen of the future. This guy has some of the craziest, best content I have found. So I'm going to pay this guy to come talk to you. All right, so he's going to come in on Saturday and he's going to bring all of his research. Like he has 48-minute videos, 2-hour videos, straight research. It is crazy stuff. He's a really nice guy. I'm going to meet with him tomorrow, just go over what he's going to go over. And he's going to come in on Saturday and we'll record it. And he's going to do a special video for you about TradeFi and what's all happening too. So look forward to that as well, guys. Let's go ahead and just get into the XDC chat. Very excited to be talking about this, right? So there's a couple cryptos in life that I think you definitely should either research, or I can't tell you to buy it, but I definitely have owned XDC for quite a while. I bought it way under a penny. I've owned it for 2 years now. I think it came out in 2018. Let's get into understanding what XDC is. Here's a great little article I found. It talks a lot about what XDC is, right? So XDC is a permission blockchain platform aiming to facilitate international trade finance and interorganizational payment operations. XinFin inherits such of its functionality from two prominent platforms, the public Ethereum blockchain and the private Quorum blockchain. XinFin's native currency, XDC, okay, it's just talking about the price. What is XDC in XinFin? Okay, XinFin was created as a fork of the Quorum blockchain, which in turn is a fork of Ethereum. That's why it's half and half. The platform combines Ethereum's decentralized open access functionality with Quorum support, creating private access networks. These private networks are huge, right? Because banks, institutions, big trade conglomerates, sometimes they don't want all of their stuff on a public blockchain. That's why XRP and Ripple, a lot of these central banks like Ripple because they can have a private chain or a private ledger, let's say. The platform uses its own variation of the delegated proof of stake blockchain verification method that allows it to achieve fast transaction speeds at low cost. XinFin positions the verification model and its speed and cost effectiveness as core value propositions. XinFin mainly targets financial... Oh wait, am I sharing my screen? I'm not, huh? My bad, guys. Sorry, blonde moment. Somebody should have said something. Let me turn off my camera. All right, now we're back. All right. Next time you guys don't see something, just unmute and yell at me, okay? XinFin, one of the most useful features for financial institutions is the ability to integrate data from internal legacy systems such as ERP systems or SWIFT payment databases into the blockchain using the ISO 20022 electronic data interchange standard. ISO 20022 is extensively used by financial institutions for interorganizational data exchange. So far, XinFin has made some modest yet somewhat limited progress in targeted governments and financial organizations. It has cooperated with the government of Maharashtra, I can't say that, sorry, one of the largest Indian states to present a proof of concept for land registry records on blockchain. So you would say that like XRP is really trying to go after like those banks, central banks, CBDCs. XinFin's really trying to approach this from a different angle. They're really going after trade finance and everything that it encompasses, and we're going to go through what all that encompasses here in this. So XinFin has also recently partnered with Trade Finance Distribution TDF initiative, and we're going to talk about that. I don't need to tell you exactly what that is just yet because we're going to talk about that. All right, so how does XinFin work? Let's just talk about the basics before we get into it. At the heart of XinFin's value proposition is a delegated proof-of-stake blockchain verification model. XinFin credits this model for low transaction costs and fast performance it boasts. XinFin's average transaction confirmation time is around 2 seconds, which is great. You have something like XRP, it's 3 to 5 seconds. With this, you have consensus 2 seconds. While transaction fees are 1/100th of the typical fees on Ethereum. Very similar to your XRPs, right? That's why we talk about these very closely together. And energy consumption, this is obviously before Ethereum went to proof of stake, but Ethereum's still shit, even though it moved proof of stake. It's very centralized right now. I definitely think the SEC should look at that. XinFin master nodes, right? So this is just talking, if you want to run a master node, you need 10 million XDC. That's a XinFin's epoch. Each epoch of XinFin lasts about 30 minutes and involves 900 transaction blocks. Given the heavy requirement of nearly $1 million USD to become an active master node, it's a lot cheaper now, guys. The price is dipped, but this article saying there's 108 at the time of this article, which this article is a little bit older. But XinFin rewards, we don't really need to talk about rewards. Who is behind XinFin? I guess we could talk about this. XinFin was founded in 2017 by technology entrepreneurs Atul Kakade and Ratish Kakad. Sorry, Ratish and Atul, I butchered your names. The company is registered in Singapore. The project's mainnet was launched in June 2019. Both co-founders are active in the project. Kakade is heading XinFin's technology and ecosystem development function, while Kakad is involved with more generalized role in the project strategist. Kakad is also an early investor in XinFin. The project is also supported by 5 business advisors, among the CEOs of Bitcoin.com, Roger Ver, and the COO of Bitcoin.com, Mate Toke. All right, that's some good information to have. We don't need to really talk about the future because we are going to get into it. All right. If you're following XinFin, guys, the best thing to do, jump on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, anything I can to talk to these people. As you can see, I was reaching out to Andre Casterman. We're going to talk about him too. But this gives great updates, weekly updates about what's going on in the XinFin community. And I'll just play this real quick for you. So we're going to talk about this security to integrate with XDC Network. This is huge. This is why I'm playing this. All right, so it gives you like a little fun updates. But the main reason I played that is for security, which we're going to get into here in a little bit. Also, guys, I put all of these links in my notes down here, and I'll post it after the chat. XinFin public XD proof of stake consensus delegated proof of stake. Okay, so XinFin's XD POS mechanism is a decentralized way of validating transactions that occur on XinFin's hybrid blockchain and appending those to Truth Ledger. Unlike alternative consensus algorithms, XinFin's delegate proof of stake uses real-time voting to elect a pool of validators. We're still talking about XinFin itself here. The network of validators are responsible for preserving the sanctity of XinFin's hybrid blockchain network. The robust nexus ensures the security of the blockchain. Validators are responsible to validate and convert the transactions created by the producers into legitimate blocks. Validators are responsible for broadcasting these blocks throughout the hybrid blockchain. Validators must keep their node in sync with the hybrid blockchain at all times. Validators are responsible for solving any unforeseen network issue. It's just talking a lot about validators and what they're responsible for. If you can run a validator, if you can afford 10 million XDC, it probably would be one of the best things you could invest in your future. Just saying. Currently, I don't have the funds to put into 10 million XDC. I think right now it's about 50, 60 grand maybe? Million XDC? It's 2 cents? No, it's a little bit more than that. It's probably like 100 grand right now, but definitely would be something to hold on to, and you get XDC every day for rewards and processing transactions. It's going to get really busy here. But this talks a little bit more about validators and what they're responsible for. I don't really think it's necessary to get into all of these fine details unless you really want to run a node, and those people are far and few between, so I'll let you come back to this. But let's get into some really what XinFin's actually doing, right? Ethereum scaling solution XDC Network presents XDPOS 2.0 and enhanced consensus for scalability. So this does talk a little bit more about the master nodes and things like that. But this really isn't going to affect you much. I think I just had this up here to show you guys, just if you wanted to run a masternode, there's a lot of good information here, but this really isn't going to affect you and just owning XDC. Let's get into the TFD initiative, right? So what's happening with XinFin? Who are they working with? Why should you care? Why should you pay attention? So the TFD initiative, right? The main innovations of trade over the past 100 years have been linked to standardization. Making its debut in the 1960s in the shipping container set a new standard for moving global trade, dramatically increasing trade flows and reducing costs. Trade finance made accessible. So this is all about, TFD is all about making trade finance easier to global adoption of trade finance, going from paper system to a digital system. That's what all of this is doing. And so if you look at the members here, who's in the TFD initiative, and we'll get some more information here on TFD, but you can see there is some big players in here. I don't know why Chanel's in here, but hold on, who are banks, right? SMBC, Standard Bank, Standard Charter, right? Ripple partner here, Standard Charter, HSBC, Banco do Brasil, ING, QNB Bank, Lloyds Bank, huge. There's some really big players here that are dealing with this. And I think XinFin is one of the only DLT solutions that are working with these guys right now. Yeah, look, XDC Network, they're in trade tech. So we're going to talk about both of these things, but XinFin is the only DLT solution that is a TFD initiative member right now, which is pretty big, guys, that they're going to be working with XinFin, right? If he's on the initiative. For banks and FBFI, driven by leading trade finance banks and NBFIs, TFD initiative thrives on insights of its members and is built to cater to all the challenges and opportunities. We develop consensus, built standardization, best practices for the wider distribution of trade finance assets, developing standards, right? So this is all about developing standards. TFD initiative addresses the business and regulatory issues impacting banks and non-bank financial institutions when distributing and investing in trade finance. And then, of course, TFD's leadership, the CEO is Andre Casterman. He's the brains behind this, right? And so he's heavily involved in XDC and trade finance. Before I want to get into some of this other stuff, guys, we really need to understand where we've been in trade finance before I get into all of this stuff. So bear with me here. I'm going to probably stumble over some words here for a little bit, but just bear with me. I want to paint a little bit of a picture of what trade finance is still, right, and where it's going. So just bear with me. Trade finance has become more of a commonplace in the 17th and 18th centuries when American colonists becoming long-distance trading partners with the European markets. From that point, London became well established as a global trade finance hub from which a large discount market for bills and exchange emerged. So we're going to talk a lot about bills and basically how long it takes to ship things and why moving to a digital system is going to be the best thing for these guys. This will lead to worldwide commercial transactions being financed through London's money. The 19th century saw new trade finance instruments such as the factoring and the advance of a portion of the seller's receivables to provide business with working capital. So guys, basically what happens here is when you're shipping things to another country, you're gonna get a bill of lading saying that, hey, these goods are paid for by X, Y, and Z in America, right? But those goods might take 2 to 3 months to ship on the water, right? You're not going to receive payment until those goods are received. But with this bill of lading, you can go to a bank and get a loan and saying, hey, my goods are on the water. Once they get there, I will get my fund. And this is how banks make money. They make small or whatever size loans that the company needs, and then they get some interest on that. And when the goods show up, they finally get paid, and then the company who's shipping the goods pays it off. Okay, then the Bretton Woods system was established in 1944. The trade financing activities increased again following World War II, developed as an international monetary order between 44 nations, including the United States, Canada, Western Europe, Australia, Japan. Each nation agreed to peg its currency to gold as the new international monetary system to maintain balanced exchange rates. So this was changed by, oh God, who was it? Nixon changed this, and it basically changed the Bretton Woods to be backed by the US dollar, but originally everything was backed by gold. I do think they're trying to head back to the gold standard right now. We'll see how this plays out. central banks have been buying a shit ton of gold, and they still do right now. From this new system of rules, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and the International Bank Reconstruction and Development, IDRB were established. The IBRD is now part of the World Bank. Also, from this new system of rules comes tighter government regulations. The Bretton Woods system lasted until 1971 in the United States, and then they changed it over from gold to the US dollar. The government controls of capital were loosened in the 1970s, 1980s. International trade began to rise sharply despite the high interest rates environment. So interest rates in the 70s and 80s, guys, could go as high as like 20% on some of this stuff, which is just crazy. For the first time, export values reached $2 trillion during this period. This marked a major trend upward for the next 50 years to the present. In any trade, the buyer and seller agree in terms and execute a contract. Okay, and this is what we're going to be talking about. This is what's being digitized, guys. All the paperwork and the contract. However, informal, it may be the buyer, the importer, purchaser, pays for the goods or services, and the seller, the exporter, supplier, accepts the payment and delivers the goods or services. The timing of these actions can vary. However, a buyer may not have the funds available to pay for goods up front, or may not have the cash flow to endure the lengthy transport of goods. The seller, on the other hand, requires payment to fund the cost of the goods. Trade finance is the financing of goods or services in a trade transaction and provides intermediates to trade dilemmas such as those mentioned above. According to the World WTO, approximately 80% of trade activities rely on trade finance, right? So 80% of trade relies on some kind of financing on either side. People borrowing money to pay for goods or services, whatever you have. Internationally, its positive effects on working capital have helped the global value of goods increase by US by $61 billion in 1950, the peak of $19.4 trillion in 2008. All right, so this is where all of these banks, the TFD, Andre Casterman, this is what they're working on behind the scenes with XinFin. And I'm going to explain this to you. It all comes together. So XinFin, you can basically create NFTs on XinFin that have goods and services in the NFTs, and people can go out on the secondary market and bid on them. It's very interesting, but we'll talk about it in a second here. Through its monetary policies, so we're talking about the secondary market 2021. Through its monetary policies, a country's central bank places limitations on how much capital a commercial bank may lend out. The standard formula historically dictated that a bank may lend out the amount of deposit it has on its balance sheet minus a certain amount of held aside in cash reserves. It typically ranges from 0 to 10% is what they can lend out. The actual lending formula is more complex and includes factors such as banks' portfolios, risks, number of transactions, overall health, etc., etc. Because of these limitations, banks have developed corresponding and partner bank relationships throughout the years. In trade finance, an issue bank typically works with the buyer in a trade deal to issue a financial instrument, such as a letter of credit. And so we're going to talk about this a little bit later on here, that Lloyd's Bank worked on the first digital letter of credit, which just happened. It was really cool stuff, guys. Or bank guarantee. This will also provide assurances with resources without recourse to sellers, right? The issuing bank accumulates a certain volume of these instruments. They may look to offload them on their balance sheet as they creep toward their lending threshold. So what this is talking about here is that some of these banks give loans to these companies holding their line, their guarantee or their letter of credit. And what happens is some of these banks decide that, hey, maybe we're a little over leveraged here. We want to sell this to another bank, and that bank is going to hold it. And so making everything digital, right now the process is everyone gets a stack of paperwork, and that's what they have to work out of. And so once this is all digitized, which is being done right now banks can transfer over line of credits or letter of credits or bank guarantees very easily with just a click of the button. They may sell a package of these assets to a secondary bank or institutional investor to lower the amount of loans carried by their balance sheet. And so that's what XDC is working to help them do. Trade finance is low risk in general. I don't need to read you that. Okay, so trade finance gap. This is very important, guys, because this is also what it's working towards, the trade finance gap. So right now, basically the trade finance gap to small to medium enterprises, banks reject more than 40% of trade finance applications, basically because of numerous reasons. Some of them because of women-owned businesses. A lot of them are women-owned businesses that get denied. I don't think that's right. I think that's kind of shitty, and some of these banks need to change their practices. But what they're working on doing, instead of banks providing this money to these businesses, XDC and these other partners helping it are going to allow you and me, regular investors, to help offer loans to some of these small to medium enterprises. It's being all inclusive. So not just banks are able to make these returns, but you and me can start investing in stuff like this if we so choose to. That's why I wanted to get through this and bring this up. And we're going to talk more about this later on in the chat. I just didn't want to go too hard into this right now. FinTech to the rescue, Andre Casterman. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about him. I don't need you to read this, but I'll include all of these notes if you want to go through them. But what I really want to talk to you about was right here. In September 2021, the NFT was oh wait, hold on. Do I need to go up a little bit? Hold on. Where does it start talking about the NFT? Oh wait, hold on. I think I need to read all of this. 1 second. All right. What if the secondary market could have an easier access to trade finance asset class through innovative TradeFi solutions that still remain in the low risk profile? Trade Tech, which we're going to talk about, is a technology provider for trade finance asset distribution. Based in London and Singapore, their core business focus on the secondary market for originators or institutional investors. TradeCheck was founded in 2016, and through advanced technology and automation, they seek to reduce transaction costs in commercial credit and trade finance, thereby expanding opportunities for more to participate, which is me and you. When more institutional investors are able to buy trade asset packages on the secondary market, the trade finance gap will shrink. This institutional is banks, but there are going to be opportunities for people like us to buy, let's say a whole package of an NFT is 100%. If we wanted to buy like 1% of that, you're going to be able to do that here in the future. Obviously, some of these things are millions of dollars and you don't have that money, but if it's like 100 grand and 1% is 1,000, you could essentially put your $1,000 in. Once the goods get there, maybe it's a 7 or 8% interest rate and you make a quick dollar just on that. That's what it's talking about there. FinTech launched XDC Network in 2019. This is just talking about Zinfin. Blockchain automation is still new, unearthed concept in most business markets. I want to get to the NFT stuff. Hold on. Trade finance. Sorry, there's a lot of information here. Okay. So TradeTech saw a way to incorporate blockchain distribution ledger technology into its tech stack and explore innovation solutions for trade finance asset distribution. In doing so, a broader secondary market would be given access to these asset classes. A result of that, more capital will become available for SMEs and for others who left out of the traditional finance offerings. How could this work? TradeTech repacked with Dublin headquartered invoice finance company accelerated payments as an asset originator. Trade finance assets into non-fungible tokens, right? So they're turning trade assets into NFTs, guys. This is what we're talking about here. Investors can buy and sell these tokens that represent the value of the off-chain pool of trade assets. The owners of those NFTs hold the legal entitlement of the pool of repackaged underlying trade assets. So that's what I was kind of explaining to you, that all of this is going to be packaged into NFTs, and people, banks, institutions, you and me will be able to participate in this new system because of the inclusiveness that they're trying to do. In September 2021, the NFT was deployed on the XDC network. The network is inexpensive to transact on, especially when compared to Ethereum's high gas fees, and is fully compliant with ISO financial messaging standards and common language for payment transactions worldwide. In a message that accompanies a cross-border transfer of funds and provides the receiving institution with the payment details. XDC Network is already in position with Swift. So this is talking about XDC position with Swift and ISO, but that's what they're working on, guys. So I really wanted to just go over that so you understand where trade finance was originally and where it's heading right now. And let's talk a little bit more about this, right? This is what we're talking about. XDC Network to integrate groundbreaking DeFi and compliance technology from Security. On my birthday here, just a couple days ago, guys, Security, a lending blockchain-based financial markets infrastructure of products company, announced today that it will deploy a proprietary digital asset Composer on the XDC network. The state-of-the-art blockchain with a mature ecosystem and a particular focus on real-world applications in global trade and finance. Digital Asset Composer is a unique code platform for the creation of digital assets. Sophisticated financial instruments such as smart contracts on blockchain networks and crowdsourced financial engineering in the open ecosystem of value. It will allow XDC Network community to easily compose financial instruments and entire DeFi protocols, fractionalize real-world assets, guys. We're talking about oil, we're talking about silver, we're talking about gold, we're talking about everything being digitized, real estate, shit. Your car loan, like not your car loan. When you pay off a car, you get the paperwork saying that you own the car. That's going to be tokenized, guys. Everything's going to be tokenized, okay? Through the deployment of the digital asset composer, the NFC networks and plays of power. Hold on, composer. This is talking about more of the same. All right, let's talk a little bit about what Security is, right? Okay, so I have Security right here, guys. If you go to security.com, you can learn a lot of information, empowering frictionless financial freedom for all. Imagine a world of effortless compliance, borderless transactions, a newfound financial fluidity. I do not use that word much, sorry. That is the world Security is building today. We combine world-class institutional finance and state-of-the-art decentralized finance to unlock doors in the industry's future. Security makes yes a reality in the next generation of financing and markets infrastructure. So we can go here and we can get a little bit of information, who we are, what do we do, what we enable. We're really interested in what we enable. What are they building? Universal compliance, interoperability, a universal liquidity, right? These are all things that it's working on. What we do. Customizable institutional grade workflows, control location as a service, wallet and account management services, universal liquidity network infrastructure, digital asset composer. A lot of stuff being done here. Security capital, security transfer, a lot of information here that you guys can go over on your free time. But this is who they're partnering with to bring securities and different things to the blockchain on XDC Network, right? XDC Network to integrate DeFi and compliance. This is just another article on the same thing, but this just happened, guys. And so Donnie is the CEO of Security, and they've been doing a lot of different chats. The gentleman that's coming in on the weekend is going to bring a ton more information in on Security, so I really am not going to spend too much time on Security other than what we've gone over. Also, guys, what you need to know is Zinsfin partnership with TradeTech was showcased at the TFA's annual conference that took place in Porto. So they just had a big conference in Porto last week, and it's all about tokenizing NFTs and security tokens were the talking points here. I did link this if you want to go back and read the article about what happened here. There's a lot of good information on it, but they just had this big gathering where they're talking about how all of this is working and who the players are inside of it. Here's the information on TradeTech partners with Zinfin on trade finance, NFT transactions. So this is really what we've been talking about the last 20. Yeah, I don't really need to get too much into this. There's a lot of Bank of Australia, Deutsche Bank. There's a lot of big names being thrown around in this trade finance TFD initiative. TradeTech to securitize trade finance receivables on the XDC network and public blockchain. I think there's one of these where you can actually, where is that? Hold on. There's one of these that you can actually buy right now. Is it this one? Hold on. Let me find it, guys. Give me 1 second. There's so much stuff here. Where's the Trada token? I know I have it here somewhere. It's over here. That's why. Yeah, okay, Trada token. Okay, we'll get to this in a second, but you can actually invest in the trade token, Trada token right now if you so choose to, and I'll show you how to do that if you want to. But there's so much good information here. I don't need to read you their story. We've just been talking about what these guys are doing, so you know already. Here is the article about the XDC Network at the ITFA Porto 2022. Some takeaways here. They're tokenizing assets. They're changing the standard. Mr. Kasperin also monitored a panel discussion on the metaverse, NFTs, and other things that you should have heard about. Discussion centered around the cutting edge potential of these popular blockchain products have in trade. They're not just for games and artworks. They are really working hard behind the scenes. This is a great little article here that you guys can read on your own time, but it just talks about basically what we've been going over securities and NFTs. Here is the ITFA, right? So these people are responsible. This is Andre Casterman right here. This is the board members. These guys are working with all of these Lloyd's Bank and financial institutions to do all of this. I just wanted to show you here. There's not too much information here that I want to get into, but there's just a wealth of knowledge here, and I'll provide all of these links if you want to go back and take a look at it. Zinfin XDC Network, the first blockchain company to join the global TFD initiative. That's what we were talking about originally. There's just a lot of information here on it. Okay, so what other initiatives and what are things that are happening to help move this thing forward? Glad you asked. So the ICC and Digital Standards Initiative, right? The ICC Standards Initiative, DSI, was developed to embed in the seamless digestion of process throughout the global trading system, supported by Asian Development Bank and the Singapore government to help solve the key barriers hindering trade. I don't like that word, sorry. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the adoption and digital technologies by businesses around the world, but significant barriers continue to prevent the full digitalization of trade-related processes. Find out more about the DSI. Operating model. The ICC Digital Standards Initiative based in Singapore operates in accordance with the management of standards in the IFCC under the guidance of the governance board comprising policymakers of governments and international organizations, including the government of Singapore, Asian Development Bank, and the World Trade Organization and the World Customs Organization. So what are these guys doing? They're building standards. So enabling standards setting bodies, leveraging the experience and knowledge of trustworthy bodies, considered all approaches, deliver standards that enable both blockchain and non-blockchain based approaches, establish standards that truly accessible to carriers, exporters, importers, banks, customers, and customs and agencies. So guys, right here, carriers, exporters, importers, banks. So all of this paperwork has to go in between all of these different carriers, exporters, importers, banks. And so by making everything digital, this will allow things to happen in a more seamless, instead of things taking a couple days to move paperwork from one place to another, now it can all happen in a matter of seconds, right? Ensure that appropriate capabilities within relevant industries are leveraged to overcome challenges. And then there's just some more information about the governance board here and who is on it. Just a lot of things happening at the IAB and the ICC. These guys are just making the rules that all of these guys are going to follow. And that's why I thought it was important to show you who they are and what they're doing here. They've also made a standards toolkit for cross-border paperless trade. That's what they're responsible for right here, is cross-border paperless trade, digitizing things. Let me see here. A cross-border transaction involves multiple actors and requires the exchange of 36 documents and 240 copies. 240 copies on average, guys. The gentleman that has this channel did the math and said that if you stacked all the paperwork up every year for TradeFi, that it would be 5,500 Empire State Buildings of paperwork all stacked up on each other. So not only that this is bad for the environment, right? It's also a system that hasn't been changed in thousands of years. This is what they're working on to aim to fix all of this and making everything digital. So they can definitely start saving on trees and not having to cut down as many, and it's going to make things a little bit easier. What does it include in the standards toolkit? Fundamental standards and identifier standards, the supply chain actors, and reduce translation and enable track and trace technologies, right? So this is like track and trace technologies like what VeChain does, right? Tracks and trace stuff. Standards of commercial transactions, including the buy, ship, and pay processes. Transport and logistics of standards for cargo, handling, port, airport, clearance, and real-time shipment tracking. And so this is what these guys are working on. The TFD initiative really is something that we should be paying attention to. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about digitizing documents and things like that. NGO built on XDC is what you're going to want to check out if you want to get involved with a project that is doing such that. Digitize any original document, right? Finance, transport and logistics, certificates, and more, right? Accessibility, interoperability, no lock-in, free to use after issuance forever. Designed to comply with existing legislation. The problem with the current system is what happens if you lose the paperwork? You know how much more paperwork that takes and how much you have to prove. So when you have it to a full digital system like this, you can track where it originated from, who owned it in between, and where it came out on the other side. And NGO is one of the projects that are doing that on the XinFin network. I don't know if this project is fully launched yet, but I'm going to be looking into NGO, and I'm actually going to talk to the gentleman tomorrow and ask him a little bit more about NGO. But this is what they're using to digitize all of these documents. You can see Finastra is here, the ITFA is here, China Systems. I don't know these other ones, but Finastra, Ripple Partner, right? All right, guys. So look, Lloyds Bank completes first UK's digital promissory note. Remember in the beginning, I was telling you that this just happened last month here. All right. So Lloyds Bank has completed the UK's first transaction utilizing a digital promissory note purchase. This landmark transaction dramatically increases speed of payment and paves the way for significant increase in the use of promissory notes for a broad range of transactions. All right, Crypto Vadim, hope you're having fun with your child. All right, promissory notes have been around for 4,000 years, used to complete transactions in lieu of cash. In modern setting, their use is typically limited to a large transactions that often involve the sale and purchase of property. The use of promissory notes allows sellers to be paid based on the credit worthiness of the purchaser. The purchaser can obtain goods or services with a note rather than needing to have the funds on hand. The process involved in issuing and authenticating and paying out promissory notes is little changed since their inception. The use of promissory notes in the UK is governed by the Bill of an Exchange Act, right? This is a new bill, which has hindered innovation due to the requirement that notes are physically entity. The transfer of the physical paper note between banks and notaries means that it can take a week or more for business to be paid out. So this is what they're trying to change with the Bills and Exchange Act. They're saying that it could take a week or more. But going to a fully digitized system, guys, this will happen in seconds instead of taking days, which will be more inclusive for the entire world to join the system. So there's a lot more information here. I'm not going to read it all to you guys because I still have a ton more slides and we've already been here for 40 minutes. Trade tech, right? Trade tech, we talked a little bit about them. I'm not going to go back into them. I don't know why I had them in here. Okay, this is what we really need to talk about. G7, creating a modern digital trade ecosystem, cutting the cost and complexity of trade. Okay, so findings and summary, right? They did this. They wrote this whole report with the ICC, who we talked about maybe 10 minutes ago. Current trade growth forecasts suggest that goods trade will be very flat across the G7 to 2026. This is because of COVID. Trade ecosystem could increase trade across the G7 by nearly 9 trillion and nearly 43% of 2009 values by 2026. Average growth in trade from digitization across borders is nearly 8% above forecasts. Paperless trade facilitation could create 267 billion in additional exports. Compared to the base forecast by 2026, could create such as 6 trillion in extra exported goods by 2026. So it's basically all of these small to medium enterprises that can't sell or get their goods listed or move their goods, they're going to be able to join this new system. Paperless trade facilitation could reduce the cost as share of total trade across the G7 by 76%. Currently, all costs associated with trade request 3% of value of the trade. This could reduce to 0.07 by 2026. Oh, I'm trying to see what's important and what's not here. Digitization will replace bureaucracy by reducing time spent on cross-border trade by around 81% across the G7, cutting the number of days associated with border compliance from an average of 25 days to less than 1 day, guys. So this is the biggest thing, right? Border compliance from 25 days, almost a month, to 1 day, reducing average compliance times from 2.3 days to less than half a day. All right, so we do need to talk about MLETR. So let's talk a little bit about this. ICC is calling on national governments to create a modern digital trade ecosystem by reforming laws to digitize trade documentation and align legal frameworks to the unicritical modern law of electronic transfer and records, the MLETR. This is the new thing that they're doing. This supports the G7 framework for collaboration on electronic transferable records called to do the same. The work of the UNCITRAL Unicitral is promoting MLETR. There's a lot of acronyms, guys. Sorry. Framework agreed for the facilitation of cross-border paperless trade. So what they're doing here, guys, in a nutshell, is they're putting everybody on the same system. They're starting with the G7, and they're going to work into these other countries. It's just like ISO being on the same, everyone being on the same system. So once everybody is using the same system, it's going to be a whole lot easier, right? This is really where some crazy information is, right, in this little paragraph. Let me get to it. A modern digital trade ecosystem fit for the 21st century requires national laws to recognize all trade documents in digital form. So it's not just the documents, right? It's the lawyers, it's the companies, it's the banks, it's the institute, it's everybody has to be doing the same thing. The legal system to be aligned to enable digital information to move seamlessly across borders and between stakeholders, buyers, sellers, financiers, issuers, shippers, logistics, and customs, right? We can't forget logistics and customs. The great progress is being made to digitize trade facilitation and customs documents. More jurisdictions around the world will require documents that transfer the possession of goods to be presented in paper form. Examples of such documents in international trade includes bills of exchange, bills of lading, promissory notes, and warehouse receipts. Check this out, guys. The digital trading system currently operates an antiquated system of laws, in some cases dating back centuries. A typical trade transaction involves 27 documents, 9 of which relate to the transfer of possession and can cost $80,000 per transactions and can take 2 to 3 months to process. You guys see the problem with this, right? How is this inclusive if it's $80,000 per transaction and it takes 2 to 3 months to process, right? Imagine a digitized system where it takes a day to do all of this, guys. That's what XDC and all of these partners are working towards, okay? So that's why we're going over this information. Let me see if there's anything else in here that you need. In total, 4 billion documents move across the trade ecosystem at any given time, creating ineffectiveness and slow trade, and that'll hamper growth and innovation, right? This report was commissioned by the ICC in the United Kingdom, and there's some other information here if you want to take the time and go through it, but we really were talking about the main thing, right? What's happening, why this is happening. The system really is broken, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make an even playing field for everybody, small, medium enterprises, okay? So 2/3 of SMEs unable to secure funding due to limited access and choice in business lending, right, guys? So this thing is saying 67% of small to medium enterprises globally are unable to secure sufficient and any funding at least one or more occasions, according to the new report, right? This is what they're trying to fix, guys. This was March 9th of this year. Okay, so once with XDC's help, Andre Casterman, all of these new things, this new system is going to be created, and XDC is right in the middle of all of it, square in the middle of all of it. World Trade Organization, accelerating trade digitization to support MSME financing. This is just more of the same, guys, just more of the same. Like I said, guys, this gentleman's going to be here on Saturday to go through a lot of this stuff in a little bit better detail than I have. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but this is what this guy does 24/7, bringing the best. That's my motto. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on in the market. I know I've talked for 50 minutes. I don't usually read for 50 minutes. That was a lot, guys, but thank you for going through with me. But check this out. XDC Foundation, right? This is a tweet. Go domains. Right now, guys, you can actually go and register in an XDC domain. And I actually bought a bunch of them already. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where is it? Here it is. You can basically search whatever you want and buy XDC domains. Whatever, I don't know what you want to search for, but documents .xdc and whatever you want to search. Obviously that was taken, but as you can see, I bought 29 domains already. So I shared this in the community. I just thought it was fun. If you want to go buy an XDC domain, please go ahead. I did buy 777gambling.xdc and a bunch of other ones, casino ones, and hey, you never know. It was $10 or something. So anyways, check this out. R3 Corda. Innovation and transformation in security settlement. Michelle, DTCC, right? We know about the DTCC, right? R3 and Corda. So this is just talking about Andre Casterman in trade finance. RC20, ERC721, native digital assets. So we got Ethereum, Stellar, you got Ripple, Bitcoin. I don't know why Bitcoin's on here, and Zinfin working on the trade gap. So a lot of things happening here. And then, so yeah, this is on September 7th. Then the Trade Tech CEO spoke. I wanted to talk to you about, oh, this is just backlogs and cargo shipping. So this is what this is going to fix, guys. Backlog record, this was last year, but this is what this is going to fix. These are all 65 cargo ships forced to queue outside of America's two biggest ports. This is really what it's going to help fix. Global trade finance gap widened to 1.7 trillion in 2020. There's also, the global trade finance gap is estimated 1.7 trillion. And then last year, I think it was even higher. And they're saying by 2025, 2026, it could go as high as $5 trillion if we don't do something about it. So that's basically meaning that there's people out, there's companies, businesses that want to join the world economy, but they can't get loans. So they're saying that they can't get loans up to $1.7 trillion a year right now, guys. And so this is a huge issue, right? If these businesses can get more involved, there's people working, there's people paying taxes, right? They're hiring people, there's shipping people that are busy and people doing paperwork. There's all these different people that have different jobs. And so that's why they're trying to fix all of this. Okay, so I did want to talk to you about the Trada token, right, guys? It is being sold right now in pre-sale, right? I'm actually going to post this one because I think if there's anything to post, it's probably this into this chat. And I'll come back and look at all of this stuff. So you can actually download the documents. This is like 50 pages. I didn't have time to read through it. I'm sorry. But you fill this out right here. You do need to be either in UK or be an accredited investor. So it's not for everyone. I'm sorry. But there are some people that are going to listen to this that are going to qualify for this. And by all means, if you like what I've been saying, that is probably, I'm going to invest in this, whatever you want to do. Here's the XDC domains. If you want to take a look, if you want to buy something, you just connect your XDC wallet and you do. What the hell is this? Oh, this is just me researching stuff. Sorry. Okay, so the good place to find XDC new guys is CoinFi. They post a lot of different things here about XDC, and so I wanted to share just some things with you guys on how you can find more information if you wanted to. But check this out, guys. We're not done yet. I know I've been talking for 51 minutes, but we're not done yet. So XDC Ninja, thank you XDC Ninja. First read, one of my favorite projects on XDC ecosystem, a banking and crypto trading platform that will allow for major fiat currencies and digital assets. Get global with Globians. And so where is it? Right here. Okay. The XDC network is joining the metaverser world. Is metaverser? Maybe a misspelling on their part, but check it out. The XDC network has now staked a claim with a new metaverser. I don't know why they have the R there. With a great opportunity for blockchain 4.0, the XDC network can now be promoted within the metaverser from its own building in the crypto valley. The XDC network, built with developers and enterprises in mind, the XDC network, oh wait, we don't even know what the XDC network is. Oh wait, so metaverser. The virtual world that enables users to have fun while playing inside the metaverse while earning income from different play-to-earn games. The Metaverser offers a play-to-earn missions and challenges. Metaverser has incorporated the world of finance with gaming. It's a fun, exciting game that also provides players with various opportunities to generate income while they play. Gamers have more control over adding real-world value to their online entertainment. Virtual reality technology, free to play, game, rent to play, and more. Rent to play. I don't like rent to play. And then Globians. The Bank of Crypto Exchange, the purchase prime metaverser real estate just for the XDC network, including the XDC network into metaverser, setting the stage to bring them both together. Globiverser is the fusion of a bank with crypto exchanges on a single platform. So we definitely want to find out a little bit more about Globians. That sounds better. Also, if you're a soccer fan, DC United and XDC teamed up and they are supporting DC United. Huge letters. All right, guys, that was a lot of XDC stuff. I do want to touch on some other things in what's happening. Trust me, on Saturday, we're going to record that guy's chat that's going to come in, and that is going to probably be a lot better than what I went over. I know that I stumble on some words. I'm very hyper. My mind goes 1,000 miles a minute, and sometimes like I'm reading too far ahead. So I do apologize, but that gentleman is going to come in here and smack my chat around. He's going to really lay it out for you. I hope this kind of gives you some idea of what's happening with XDC behind the scenes. It did take me a very long time to dig up all of that stuff, but we're going to have a really good chat here on Saturday with this gentleman that's going to come in. I'm really excited for it, actually. But let's talk a little bit outside of XDC. So, digital dollar takes another step in White House's first ever digital assets framework. The Fed will continue its CBDC research as Republicans pressure central bank to clarify its stance on digital dollar issuance. I think what's happening here, guys, is you do have Ripple, you have Sam Bankman-Fried, you have a lot of people putting pressure, or not pressure, but They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're putting dollars into these packs, and they're getting more and more people on the pro crypto stance side. So what they're asking for here is some guidance on what's going on. The US federal government has tasked the Federal Reserve to carry on with its ongoing central bank digital currency research in the nation's first ever comprehensive framework for responsible development of digital assets. The Department of Treasury has been tapped to lead an interagency working group to assist the central bank. The White House unveiled its framework on Friday, which included recommendations from reports published by various government agencies as to follow up with Joe President's executive order in March. The Treasury published 3 reports on Friday and recommended the advancement and possible U.S. CBDC if determined to be. You know what? I did watch something about the reports that were written. The people that wrote the reports did a pretty shit job. They're really not pro crypto. I don't think those were probably the right people to do that work, but can't ask for everything. There are at least 105 countries exploring CBDC developments. Damn, it's 105 countries now, guys. That's a lot. I think, what is there, 203 countries, or is 197? I can't remember the exact numbers. Either 197 or 203 is the number, but that's over half the countries now in the world pursuing central bank digital currencies. And this is talking about China has developed their own. But the reason I bring this up, guys, is not just that. What is this? Oh, this is on central bank digital currency use cases. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this real quickly. So launched, piloted, development. So Pink is launched, right? So launched, right? Jamaica, man. Why does it name? Oh, this is the Bahamas. It looked like Florida. Bahamas, the sand dollar. It's been going really well. Jamaica, right near the beach. Nigeria. I don't see any more pink though. Okay, so those, and then piloted, right? So you got some piloted here. Russia's piloting. Russia really needs crypto. Kazakhstan. What is this right here? South Korea and China. Okay, cool. A lot of cool stuff happening with CBDCs, guys. And then you have 2 that have been canceled in red. So that's Ecuador, and you have Senegal. They don't want anything to do with the CBDC. So we are moving towards it, guys, pretty quickly. I remember 4 years ago when I got into crypto, this was just like hearsay and talk. Now actually it's happening. But okay, so the rest of the crypto market's been pretty beaten down this week, right? It shouldn't be a surprise to you if you've been in my crypto chats. I talk about the market. I've been telling you for a very long time that we're not going to see a bull market anytime soon, that we are in fact in a pretty bad situation financially looking at the whole overall world. So I hope you're coming to those crypto chats on Wednesday when we're talking about this stuff, and even on these chats right here. But this is talking about Ripple's argument, right? Ripple did something pretty incredible. They didn't really attack the Howey test on this judgment. What they attacked was, what is a security, what is a contract, right? What is the SEC coming up after for? And so this was actually brilliant. If you want to understand this really well, don't listen to me, watch Jeremy Hogan. Jeremy Hogan did a great video on this.
Good evening and welcome to Legal Briefs.
You have to see, I watch everything on 2X because I just have to watch so much stuff to get through to you guys. But here, watch, that's a 10-minute video that's going to explain it way better than I ever could. I'm not a lawyer, but basically Ripple's attacking what is a security contract. I really like the defense that Ripple's put out. Ripple's kind of been pumping the last couple of days, guys. We are so close to a settlement, I think. Because of this, guys, the SEC does not want to give up the Hinman emails. There's damaging stuff in the Hinman emails, guys. When the judges ordered the SEC like 3 times to hand over the emails, and they won't do it. So if Ripple can't get the emails that the judges asked for, the SEC can't really win the case here, guys, because they haven't turned over evidence that Ripple needs to help defend itself. Either Ripple gets away, I think either Ripple's going to get settlement. We really want to have the SEC just slap down in this case, but just know that we are closer than we ever have been. So if you've been holding off on your XRP bags, it might be a better idea to get more in tune with what's going on right now. Watch this video I just posted. Watch as much stuff as you need to, but we're getting very close, guys. And I really want to make sure you understand that we're very close here, guys. Check this out, guys. Digital Dollar Project launches technical sandbox to explore central bank digital currency infrastructure solutions, right? This is actually at the end of last month, but the reason I bring this up, I'll get to in just a second. Washington, PRN Newswire. The digital project, DTP, announced today that it launched its own technical sandbox to jumpstart further exploration of technical implementations of the U.S. central bank digital currency. It's their CBDC. The program is slated to begin in early October, which is next month, with an inaugural cohort focused on cross-border payments. The program will serve as a collaborative space for the DDP participants and financial service providers, offering a neutral environment for the evaluation and technological business and policy approaches to CBDCs. This is really interesting, but the reason I bring this up, guys, the ECB picks Amazon, Nexi, and three other people to work on European central banks and different things. This is more of central bank talk, guys, but this just happened. This doesn't really have anything to do with this, but the DDP, if you actually look up DDP, I wonder if I can pull it up. Hold on. No, hold on. Digital dollar project, right? Digital dollar, isn't that what it is? Hold on. Digital dollar. Here, let me just, I think Ripple is on this, aren't they? Ripple's everywhere, guys. I don't know if you understand that, but hold on. Let me see. Maybe it's a different one. Hold on. Digital dollar project. I'm pretty sure board of directors, view board. Hold on. Oh, I thought Ripple had somebody on their board. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's a different board. Sorry. But check this out, guys. This is what I really want to talk about. ECB picks Amazon, Nexi, and 3 other prototypes. If you click here, what they chose to help them with their sandbox and what they're doing. God, I understand. I don't want cookies. Okay. They chose CX Bank, Worldline, EPI, Nexi, and Amazon. Check this out, guys. So if you look up, Amazon's a Ripple partner, right? I think everyone should know that, right? Amazon, RippleNet. This is on Amazon's website that they're a Ripple partner. They've been using it for a while, or they're going to be using it. RippleNet member Worldline. So you have two different RippleNet partners now going to be working on the European Central Bank selects and internal companies for joint prototyping of user interfaces for digital euro, right? 2 out of 5 is pretty strong. And I tried to look for connections with this one. I couldn't find any. I didn't see any connections with Nexi. I didn't get a chance to look up EPI, but Ripple is everywhere, guys. Ripple did say that they're working with up to 50 central banks on their digital currencies. This could be something that they're working on here too. It doesn't quote Ripple in this article or anything like that. Just understand, guys, you want to own the asset that the whole world is going to use for something, right? It's come too far, guys. It's come too far. Could they put the brakes on and pick something else at the last second? But wouldn't you want to go with something that's been proven over the last 10 years to work and that has connections all over the place? I think so. I'm going to save this one for last. Okay, but check this out, guys. What I want to show you is this. So the same day, this just happened, guys, 5 hours ago. Caroline D. Pham. She works for, welcome Caroline D. Pham. She's a commissioner at the IFTC. Hold on. She is, too many acronyms, guys. CTFC, sorry. She's a commissioner at the CTFC, right? So the SEC and the CTFC are the ones who have been working with crypto and helping regulate it. She's at friggin' Ripple, having a meeting with the team, the commissioner for the CFTC. Say the day after the summary judgment stuff's been filed. So people say there's no coincidences in life, but I wonder what they're meeting about, guys. And they're look, this guy's all smiles, she's all smiles. She's like, "Hey girl, I look good." So anyways, I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to bring that to you. And then check us out, guys. Amazon halt. This is from last year, but Amazon halts plan to stop accelerating Visa cards in the UK. Amazon halts plan to stop accepting Visa cards. Amazon was actually going to stop using last year, I believe, and what happened was Visa ended up going out and buying out 2 different Ripple Pay partners, and now Amazon went back with Visa. Every time they charge a credit card fee, it's 3%. Visa is looking to stay relevant in DLT. So if you watch my XRP chat, I showed you all the Visa and all those connections, but I just thought this was interesting. What's going on here? Damn, someone's making popcorn in my house. It's not fair, yo. RippleNet member Worldline to offer cross-border slit. Yeah, I just wanted to show you Worldline. We're getting to the end of the chat here, guys. I know I've been rambling for a while. And then just more central bank. There's everyone's talking about CBDCs right now, guys. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. We are closer than we ever have been, guys. It is going to happen. And then I do talk about IOTA sometimes. I did go over IOTA several weeks ago. But if you remember IOTA from 1718, a skeptic. So basically in the last 2 years, they've redone the whole protocol. They've done a lot of different things. No roadblocks, no limits, a feeless L2 state anchoring, bridgeless asset transfer, real economics with SMR, unique UTXO output types, native tokenization, IOTA is one to watch, guys. So I don't know if you saw this information on IOTA, but holy crap, that was a lot of chatting. Any questions, comments, concerns? How did we like the chat? I know it was a lot of me just rambling on. Sorry about that, but you can see a lot of stuff's happening with digitalization and XDC. You know, that's going to be huge, guys. It's going to be huge. 260K for XDC Masternode. Yeah, D, thank you so much for letting us know. Man, I wish I would have known I needed 10 million when it was like fractions of a penny. I probably would have just put the money in. I really didn't know what I was buying back then. I had no idea. I was just like, oh, there's like an X. It's like XRP. I'll buy some of this. It looks good. Here, let me see. I bought a... Here, let me see if I can track down when I bought XDC. Hold on. Coin market. Oh, man. Oh... I bought XDC like here, like when it was like 001. Yeah, 2019 is when I bought it, right in here. God, I should have bought it. I should have bought 10 million. Fuck. That was my bad. Sensei's bad. That was before I was a sensei. I'm just kidding. Before I was a teacher. All right. Any questions, concerns, comments? Please talk to me. There's 20 of you in here. What do you guys got? Does the price of XDC have the potential as XRP? No, I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't think so though. I think XDC is trying to fix like the TradeFi section, which is like 15-16 trillion dollars a year, but XRP is like going after like all the money. ACI worldwide processes $13 trillion a day in transactions from all of the institutions. That's 2 days in ACI. You have what TradeFi is trying to do in 1 year. I do think XRP will be better than XDC. In my personal opinion, I could be totally wrong. But that's just what my heart believes. Can XDC do 50x? Oh yeah. I think XDC would do like a 300x. XDC to like $5 is a 200x. It's like the same thing, right? If you're going to use it for cross-border payments, can't be at a low value. You need a stable, higher value. Check DM. Also, let me know if you got any questions about the degen stuff. I will, CryptoVadim. So CryptoVadim invited me to this special place, this special Telegram. That's where I found ProDev. It's cooled off. I posted it at like 35 grand. It went up to 250 or something, and then it came back down. I'll work on finding some better degen plays in that chat and bring them into the community. I'm testing it out right now. But thank you, CryptoVadim. I really appreciate you. Yeah, SB, I think XCC could do 300, 400, 500x. And even if it goes to $10 one day, it's still going to take a couple years though, man. It's not like this shit's going to happen tomorrow. I think people feel, from what I see in the market right now, and people on Telegram, people on like YouTube, everywhere, people think like XRP is about to go. Like they truly believe that. I do think if the SEC settles in any way, shape, or form, backs down, I think you're going to get just a crazy spike in the price, but that is momentarily. That's just people FOMOing. But that would give Ripple clarity, and that's what they need to really take over the world of payments. So one thing could lead to another, right? It's all about dominoes, right? If one domino falls, they all might fall. Oh, thank you, Ariana. I know it was like, when I'm reading new words and my brain's like already trying to move on to the next words, and I'm trying to like, So I wasn't made to sit here and read things to people for an hour. I was made to like just take in information and give it to you quickly, not over a prolonged period of time, but I try my best. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate you. That's very nice. All right. Hey, I'm working on ADA chat for Friday, guys. I will not be late for that. It's not as, I don't have to understand TradeFi and all this other stuff. That'll be fun. So Friday we have ADA, crypto chat on Wednesday. I'll bring in some news. We'll sit down and we'll talk about it. Join late was the role of TradeFi token in XCC world. Yeah, it's all happening in the XCC world, brother. Here, let me stop. I'm going to stop the video so I can post the video for people in the chat, but I'm not going to leave just yet. I'm going to answer some questions. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to stop the video now. Ciao.